Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, and Happy New Year, and happy back to Life's Milkshake Moments. As you know, life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely, and when you do, life will be oh so sweet. But today, it's all about life being sweet with curcumin. And it's just my pleasure and honor when people come into your life and you realize we talk about this on every broadcast on our YouTube channel. So if you're just new to our channel, like, subscribe, and share it with all of you out there that really care about health, because health isn't something you do. It's what you become along life's journey. Become health, become your best do. And it really is the discipline of our daily rituals. It's the discipline of the 5 things in traditional Chinese medicine. And the ring finger is supplementation. And the ring finger just doesn't stand up really wild, not like the other fingers, unless you have supplementation. It's in everything. Think about your Aflac commercial. The duck comes up, Aflac, Aflac, for those unexpected situations. 90% of all humankind. And it was very hard for me to accept this when I was early on. And now I'm into my 49th year of being a health coach and a holistic practitioner. But to me, that part of Dr. Jody Bear was just me being such an empath. Why do people wait until they crash? Why do they wait until they crash? And then they want something instant to make them feel not as good as they did before. When you create your life so that you're putting energy, vitality, supplementation, diet, exercise, restoration and sleep, and all of those other things that go into a healthy lifestyle. When you say that health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey. What are you becoming right now? You're into the new year. We kind of are, well, we did this thing called New Year's, the resolutions. They may have been passed, but it's really discipline. I'm going to say it one more time. I said it on our Doctor Talk broadcast at noon today, and we played in the health sandbox of nutrition. Little did I know, because of the ice storm and my esteemed guest, Ron Gourley, would be stranded at an airport, that we had to reschedule. And this is truly, truly the nutrition day all the way. Because in this discipline of what you do on a daily basis is your most highest good. And it's that building of those building blocks, as I've said today and what I'll say before and always after. It's that making your life as part of a savings account. So then when something happens, I've been very transparent on my health challenges with mold and having a house that had mold, and it affected me. The three-peat was really something else. Now, thankfully, I'm down in South Florida, and yes, I am in a sweater. It was down to 43 degrees today, which is highly unusual. But I am here in a clean environment. When you have rest, you have your detoxification with parasites, and you have the inflammation down, then you can build into that savings account. You can build there. And that's what Ron Gourley has done his whole life, being a true business megapreneur, sales executive, chemist, you name it, just taking a product that everyone knows about, turmeric. I have it in my miracle green drink every single day when I take my nutrition in. But here you think about being able to get the best of the best. If you go to my website, because I am known as America's top foundational health coach, now that I've done this global training, they tell me that I'm world renowned. I don't know whether I'm just world renowned or I'm world renowned in my own town, but it matters not. There are very few products that I've on my website, drjod.com, that I endorse, that I personally take into me to make me the best version of myself. and Ron Gourley's products. All three of them that I have right here on my little desk are part of that. So before we get into the man, I think it's just really important to hear from, that 6 degrees of separation, or maybe it's 2, when it's that one person who's the catalyst to introduce us. And yes, it was Dame Doria Cordova. When my husband and I were in Tampa. Now, gosh gracious almighty, it's been over 2 years ago already. But Dame Doria is one of these people. Money and You is coming up again. April 11th is the end. April 8th is the beginning. And from beginning to end, or end to beginning, it will be a transformative time like none other. I'm a graduate of Money and You. I can say 250,000 people have come through that class. It's the longest running experiential seminar of its kind. And as Dame Doria was saying, your retreat in Aruba is, and when we did it in Crete, is 7 days. She said, you're twice as long as Money and You. It must be something. But Money and You is something. Mark your calendars after you come to Aruba with us. Then mark your calendars for Money and You. And here I present you none other than Dame Doria Cordova telling her story about Money and You to you.
Money and You is the longest running entrepreneurial, experiential, transformational training in the world. And we have been impacting the lives of over 200,000 graduates from over 85 countries since 1979. I am Doria Cordova and I own Money and You. And I would like to invite you to join us to the next program where you will have an opportunity to be with a group of people that will all be immersed in experiential games where you have an opportunity to clear any blocks that you may have to really creating wealth and doing good. But at the same time, learn the business success model, which really immerses you into a conversation about leverage. Leverage is key in creating wealth and doing good. And we have the results to show that this program works. People like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's, and many others have attended this program and changed their lives and created new industry and are some of the most well-known change makers in the world. Thank you. Aloha. Bye-bye.
And if you see that ticker on the bottom, just take a screenshot there. I'm going to let it go around one more time, and you can get a discount. Don't we all like a sale? Yes, you can get a discount on your ticket. So see you in San Diego, April 8th through 11th. And now it is absolutely my esteemed honor and just privilege to bring to the stage of Life's Milkshake moment, Curcumin edition. And we're going to sprinkle a little brain boost on the top of it, or what have you. Ron Gourley, who is a megapreneur, as I said, biotech, and Trendteck bio, and a biotech and an everything tech imaginable. He's going to be writing, and you'll hear about that later, as he's authoring a chapter in our book, Real Men Are Aware, Awakening the Conscious Male. I love his title, Threads, and we're going to thread together virology, curcumin, weight loss, anti-aging, and so much more. But he really, really has been everywhere, from a boy in Pittsburgh to Illinois to Buffalo to Wisconsin. And he said he came to Dallas for golf, but he's coming to you as a CEO, absolute expert on the product. But the thing that I love about Ron more than anything else, his heart meets his intelligence. There's a real connection there. It's the frequency in which he lives. He and his wife, Alicia, live in Dallas. I know that Raquel is an equine veterinarian, extraordinary young woman. She'd have to be, having parents like this. And Ron called me up and gave her an autographed copy that I was honored to autograph of The Women's Essence. unleash the feminine soul for her graduation gift. That's how he connects the threads. He not only is a great businessman, networker, but just an all around Renaissance guy in this field that we call real health. Welcome, Ron, to Life's Milkshake Moments.
Wow, that's awesome. My head went back to when I met you and Dame Doria together, and that was just it's an incredible moment, and of just being reflective. So thank you. This is an honor.
Yes, and we're going to get, and we might as well get into that and then go back to your boyhood, because that was one of those times, because of how Dame Doria lives her life and how she lives it in that frequency, that she's okay. I've got to introduce, her to this, and you were going out the door. And she grabbed you, and she's a little bitty thing. I mean, I'm not large, but she was a little bitty. And here we were. It's one of those times. It was a meant to be time when time meets destiny, miracles happen. So what do you remember about that time when we met 2.5 years ago?
Well, I had met her over the past year, and
yes,
her love for Hawaii. And I had done a lot of work in Hawaii with the government on environmental projects. But I introduced her to our technology, and she just so open about listening and understanding. And then, I gave her some products, and the next time we met, she was just like, wow, this is, so amazing. And so when she came over, she goes, you need to meet Jody. I said, okay. And we sat and started having a conversation, but she almost just grabbed me by the arm and says, no, you need to go meet her and, talk about your technologies, because, everything that she experienced. And I think with her, like me, it's energy, right? So there's the energy of the technology and what we bring from the earth that we bring back to the body. And then there's energy that is the human side of communicating it. And she really wanted you to know about it. And then I got to meet you and your husband at that time. And that was an amazing conversation. And that's when we first engaged.
And this is kind of, we're kind of jumping all over, but we might as well just bring it all in here, because real men, you're a real man. And my husband, who now, I don't call myself a widow, I'm a wife whose husband has wings. Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
He does. He definitely does.
Yeah, he has to have wings. He put up with me all these years. Come on. But and as we know, in Florida, sometimes it can be sunny, and then it just comes down in torrents. And we had this extreme connection, and you gave me all these products, and I'm always reciprocal. And I said, honey, I need to give Ron a book. Well, because he was the consummate author, and there will be 20 books of his that he solo wrote in the Healthopedia publishing portals by the end of next month. I promise you, the clouds unfolded. Remember, he came in, he was just drenched. And
man, it was torrent. And he just looked at me and he goes, here I go. And he went out into the rain to the car to get the book for me. And he came back in, and I got to share a couple of moments with him that was really awesome. He was amazing just in a short time. His energy, right? His aura, just meeting him as a man, that guy was amazing. And I didn't get to know him intimately in terms of a friendship, but wow, he had a lot of energy when I met him, and I got to, for that short period of time, get to understand he loved you. There was no question about that, because not a lot of men will go in torrential rain to get a book out of a trunk. There's just not a lot of guys. He didn't even blink.
Stand dry. No.
He didn't even blink. He's like, I'm out. I'm good. I'm going.
And he comes in, he's drenched. But because of the author that he was, he pulls out the book. He said, I'm not, but the book is dry. He practically had it in his jockey shorts. He was going to remember that book was dry. And here we are.
That's a great moment. That's a great historical moment, because I mean, even my eyes, I mean, knowing that, he's now got wings. And the fact is that he was such an amazing spirit in terms of just when he addressed me. He's just like, he kind of looked at me like, I'm doing this because I love her, right? It's like, It's like, yes, I do. I got it.
Oh goodness. And the love and respect that I have for you, your wife, your family, your mission. Let's just take our group back to that boy in Pittsburgh who made it from one end of the north to the other to Wisconsin. Shall we?
Yeah, it's sure. I'll tell you my favorite. So I was born in Pittsburgh, and I was like kindergarten before I left. Here's my favorite Pittsburgh story that my mother always told. I was enamored by the garbage men. I thought the garbage men are the coolest guys because they got to leave the neighborhood. So I literally followed the garbage truck out of the neighborhood. I was just this little guy, and they brought me back. And my mom said the biggest black man on the truck brought this little boy back to the house and said, "I think he's yours." And I said I wanted to be I want to be a garbage man because he got to leave the neighborhood. To me, that was a very big deal. But so Pittsburgh is where I was born. My family's from Pennsylvania, and actually going back to if you go back into Harrisburg, we go back into Gobbler's Knob. If you guys know where Punxsutawney is, my uncle owned the horse farm.
We're waiting for him on the 2nd of February with all this ice and this bad weather. Let's hope he stays out. But so you left, but you got to leave the neighborhood from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, my father worked for PPG. So my father was a naval pilot. He ended up getting his degrees, worked for PPG Chemical. So we went to Chicago, went to Buffalo, went to Madison, Wisconsin. So my whole growing up years were kind of a little odd. So kindergarten through 6th grade was in one school set. Junior high was in New York. High school was in Wisconsin. College was in Wisconsin. So I had that kind of a little difficult, but you had to make new friends, move. But that was part of corporate America back then. That's how you succeeded. So that's how I grew up. I just melded into new different parts of the Midwest, if you will. And then as soon as I graduated, I loved golf. So I tried to get to something warm so I could play more than 4 months a year.
So when you told the story, you said, okay, and I moved to Dallas for golf and the Dallas Cowboys, and you've been there ever since. Yep. So even though I said to our authors in Healthopedia, there are 2 of them that are from New England. Okay, you don't have to rub it into all of us that you made it to the Super Bowl. Okay, and we don't all have to have the weather like New England, right? But I mean, so you have this blend. When I mentioned, and we're going to get into Dr. Joe Cleaver's product, Clotho, here in a moment, and the anti-aging, and I said I referred to you as the Cleaver, Dr. Cleaver and the chemist. But you said, but you were very, precise in correcting me, and said I'm a chemist, but I'm a businessman and strategist. Very few people can make that transfer of businessman, sales strategist, project manager, and a researcher and formulator. That's quite the bundle. All 4 quarters of a football gamer and you.
Yeah, it is. So my dad was in chemistry and I wanted to be a chemical engineer. So I took a lot of chemistry and physics, etc. But I love business. And so I left college, went to commercial products or consumer products, I should say. So I worked for some very big companies and consumer products, did well. I just got kind of bored. And what I ended up doing was really using my mind and my love for, I looked at the things in society that I think are important, health and an environment. And so in those areas, I dedicated years of my life to looking at new molecular chemistry and structures and how we can advance medicine. Mine was advancing medicine without synthetic molecules. And same in environment without synthetic molecules. So I looked at how to advance those things without using what I consider to be harmful molecular structures. And that's kind of what led my career. And I continue to follow that career.
Well, and so if for those out in the audience, and if you just joined us, this is the Ron Gourley, Megapreneur, creator, co-founder of Trendteck Bio and Curcumin and assorted products. What would you define new molecular biology? Give us a definition.
New molecular chemistry. So biology well, no, on the biology side is part of it. So humic acid technologies based off of, 100 million-year-old Leonardite, that's biology. But inside of what we currently do, what we're looking at is how we take, for instance, curcumin as an example. So this comes from Ayurvedic turmeric. So everybody knows turmeric. If you don't, you can look it up. It's a spice. It was a spice that was traded between India and China, and then it became part of a trade world, everything else. In the early or late 1800s, they figured out there's these molecules inside called curcuminoids. And when you extract it, so if you take curcumin, you extract it at that point with an ethanol, you pull these things out called curcuminoids. So the long story is, so that's happened with a lot of different plant extracts. This is an extract. So if you're looking at turmeric and you say, oh, this is turmeric, and I put it in my food and it's in the Indian food, and oh, it's wonderful. It is. And then you get to the evolution of the molecular structure. There's a curcuminoids, and you get to the understanding of a lot of what we hear today and understand, we can get to this, is that a spice has a value in a food. The molecular structure extracted has a medicinal value that is different. And people have taken the food value as a spice and attributed it to all the medical things, which is not true, because once you extract it, it became a whole new structure. And so what we've done is we've worked very heavily on those kind of technology platforms where we look at medical dosing, applications of natural medicines, natural molecules in delivery systems that allow us to get to a benefit.
Well, and I think, and we're going to get into that because, and as we, I kind of knew if we started with the Bob Bear story, he'd be messing with us with this, with this episode. I'm going, oh, and I remember that. Oh, I remember that. And yes, Bob Bear, you're going to get a part of that book because we got to tell that story in our Real Men Are Aware. It will just be a beautiful thing. But I think coming back to, because you're so accomplished, and everything that you have done and become, as I always say, had I not met this beautiful woman who was retired at the time, who was the master naturopathic person on planet Earth, Dr. Hulda Clark, and what she taught me about parasites and the cure for all diseases. And here I was, just a little person. This is Getty Images. Look at Joshua Ledbetter. Where would you have been, Letterberg? Where would you have been had you not met him when you did?
Wow, that is amazing. So when I left corporate America, I was introduced through a really dear friend to Dr. Joshua Ledderberg. And Josh was chairman emeritus at that time of the Rockefeller Institute. I believe 5 sitting presidents. He chaired the Science Council for the United States. Josh was father of AI. Josh was the father of genetics. He won his Nobel Prize for discovering what's called the plasmid, which is basically the exchange of RNA, DNA information between bacteria and cells. So he always called it the sex life of bacteria, which is pretty much what it is. But the reality is that man, I got to meet him and spend time with him, and it was the most amazing time of my life. Who he was one thing. Who he was in the presence of him was a completely different thing. That man was amazingly humble, intelligence beyond everything I've ever seen in my life. And he taught me some really simple principles with regards to his research and science. Those have guided me from the day I met him to now, and they continue to guide me, as what he taught me was these are truths in science, and they have been true since the day he taught them to me.
And truths are constant. Go to Getty Images, see a life well lived. He's probably the only person I've ever come across that actually had a larger library than Dr. Bob Baer. So in knowing that, and knowing that you were able to spend this time, because you were, and I don't say this in a braggadocious way, but I was earmarked because of my youngest son being diagnosed with ADHD. And he was just, and he still is, me with testosterone. Okay. And he's half me. But had I not had that situation of the high maintenance that he was in preschool and kindergarten, I would not have met Dr. Hulda Clark. For every adversity is an equal and greater opportunity. And you had the opportunity. And now Joshua Lederberg, maybe you don't have, as many books behind you, but you've got that much knowledge up in you. So we're going to jump ahead, and we're going to talk about the Windy Rock, because we've got to take a commercial break here. If you're just joining us, this is the Curcumin, just consummate man, CEO and founder of Trendteck Bio, and he is our guest here. And we're going to get in and delve into curcumin after this break. Now, I know you've got ice, and we've had cold weather. I've never done the show in a turtleneck. I've been freezing all day. So thinking about going and being in Aruba kind of sounds inviting now, doesn't it? And doesn't it? I know that you and your wife are undoubtedly going to join us. Doesn't it kind of sound like a nice getaway today, as cold as it is? It does, doesn't it, Ron?
Yeah. Given Dallas right at the moment, anything warmer is better.
Yes, and it's that cold deal. And I just want to give another great shout out, like I did this afternoon, because I went to my videographer guy, known Robert Towns for over 10 years. And I said, I really want a new Aruba video. This was 8:00 last night. This is what he came up with. So a big shout out to the experts in our lives. Titan Productions, he spelled it with a Z, because he said, as soon as I became a dad, I got no Z's. So
that's all true.
Yes, here you go. And this is how you're going to join us with in Aruba. We only have 4 seats left. It's pretty exciting.
Aruba, Jamaica, let's just stop at the first stop. Aruba, a rich blend of indigenous, African, and European influences. Feel the origins of the Arawak people, encompassing the island's art and tradition. Feel your awareness and alignment unfold as you connect with your ultimate version of healthy living. Lose yourself in the white sand beaches, warm Caribbean breezes, and the landscape known as the Windy Rock. Awareness, alignment, abundance. Find all these and more in Aruba.
And you can see our lineup when you go to healthopediaretreat.com. And yes, the dates are March 22nd, departing on the 30th, because we're going to have a special just an excursion on day number 7. So Ron, didn't Robert do a great job? Must be the R names.
That was great.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. And
you can't start anything in Aruba without the Beach Boys. You just can't.
No, that was a known commodity, because that Kokomo song is kind of what I want to say. It's iconic, just like you. So let's get into the technology here. I've got Curcumin Pro. I'm going to just give an unsolicited, because I want to, and it's my show, this testimony. Okay. I have my ritual because discipline is the highest virtue. Okay. It just is. And I can go into what I need to do in the day. I take my energy bite. I take 3 wheatgrass because I tend to be acidic. But I will tell you, when I do my 50-minute anatomic nervous system walk, if I sometimes just would, heaven forbid that I would forget my Curcumin Pro, do you know what happens? I don't happen. I don't get as much out of my walk, but when I do, it's in me. It's in me. It's in me. So that's just what I wanted to share about that. I mean, to me, that is just astounding. So tell us about Curcumin Pro. How did you come up with it? What's in it? Obviously, we know it's the good, I'm going to use the Southern word. It's the good innards of the turmeric food.
Right. So it's a great question. And I'm going to keep this non-geeky because it gets into trying to figure out how to get more of that in your body, right? So here's the essence of it. So this molecule, this curcuminoid, so there's not one. So they say there's 3. If you look online, you'll see that there's 3 curcuminoids that make it up. Curcumin is the name of the prominent molecule, but there's probably 23 structures, carbon structures inside of the molecular structure called curcumin. The problem has always been this, whether it's turmeric, if you're taking turmeric, or if you're taking curcumin, it's virtually insoluble. So nothing is actually insoluble, but it's virtually insoluble, which means you're, as a woman, about 70% water. Males are, I mean, sitting down, I'm sorry, you're about 60, 65, males are about 70. The point is that if something's not water soluble in your body, it's hard to assimilate. So we talk about things being bioavailable. I love the word.
Yes.
It's the most abused word in the nutraceutical vitamin world. Being something that is bioavailable means what? That means I got it into your body and you have very expensive urine. In other words, did it assimilate? No, did it assimilate into a cell? Was there a cellular assimilation? Did the molecular structure that you were trying to get in, let's say it's an anti-inflammatory, an antioxidant, chelates, heavy metals, did it actually get to a cell? Cellular assimilation is that word. But we use the word bioavailable because that's a word that you can scientifically validate as meaning that you got expensive urine. I can get it in and then, oh, it's bioavailable. And a lot of curcumin technologies, and when we got into our world of trying to figure this out, we said a lot of them was like, all right, I am, you'll see this, guys, I'm sorry, you'll see it out there, more bioavailable than regular curcumin. Well, regular curcumin is virtually insoluble. So being more bioavailable and solubility being the same words virtually is meaning that by what degree are you more available by any degree? Right?
So if this is 0 and you could be 5%, big hairy deal.
I'm talking about 0.0015%. And then I'm talking about people that are talking about we're more bioavailable than this. And my comment is that's not where we went. We went down to a different road. Curcumin, because of the molecular structure, needed a new delivery system. So we changed the delivery system. We started with a protein. We looked at a protein structure and we said, wow, if we tuck the curcumin or molecule inside of a protein, the body sees the protein, Trojan horse, pulls it across, digests it. And that works. There's issues with people with whey protein ice or whatever. So they went to a cyclodextrin. So cyclodextrins come from starch molecules. They're used in foods, they're used in pharmaceuticals. But when we tucked it over into that, we found an incredible increase in free curcumin delivery. And all it means to everybody in this, just to simplify it, is this. When you take something into your body and it's going to go into your GI tract and you've got hydrochloric acid sitting in your stomach and you got to move something through and you want to get it to where you can deliver it in your body, what you want to do is put it into a delivery system that doesn't destroy it. So if it has no delivery system wrapped around it, what happens when it hits hydrochloric acid? Pretty much rips it up. So the amount of active molecular structure that goes in is very small, right? No matter what you say about what they say. But if you move it in and you protect it and you deliver it over into the body, and now the body sees it not as the original curcumin molecules, it sees it as what? It sees it as a digestible sugar or a protein. As it pulls it across, it digests it, it then releases the payload into the body. That's about as simple as I could put it. The reality becomes that we can increase, I mean, exponentially the amount of free curcumin molecular structures into the body for the body to be able to use by basically allowing the body to do what it does just by protecting that particular structure. That's the simplest way I can put it. It gets a little bit more fun when you get into some of the chemistry and how you do it. However, the reality is it's that simple. That's why our products are so effective at what they do, because if you look at the studies, you look at everything that's been done, and I really, if people don't know curcumin, people think cumin, which is a great spice too. Curcumin, C-U-R-C-U-M-I-N. If you put curcumin in your browser and you put any disease, I don't care what it is, behind it, you're going to find a ton of studies behind it. And the one reason is this. This is the reason. If you have an anti-inflammatory molecular structure that you can put into your body every day that protects you from reactive oxygen species or RNS, reactive nitrogen species, if you could put that in and it's not a drug, that is the most protective thing you could put into your body every single day. That's why you see so many studies. No other reason than if we could do this without a drug, this would be amazing. And guess what? What we did was figure out how to do that and protect the human body without using any kind of synthetic molecular structure.
I love something. It could be because I'm a publisher. Okay. Somebody asked me, what does curcumin do? I said, what it does for your body, it's like putting an umbrella over your whole body. You don't get wet. and I can pretty much, you're protected. And for me, it'll be the 10 minutes and I'm in 10 minutes and I feel it. And if you go to cpr.shop Curcumin Pro, if you're really intelligent like Ron and Joshua Letterberg, you're going to know how to spell curcumin. If you don't, cpr.shop. Let's move on now to the next amazing product, which is, to me, is the clay and what it does for weight loss, what it does for everything. I just think people need to know, because those of you that have followed me know that I tout because it's really the truth. It's been a 10. Here we go. That's the combo of the Pro and the clay. And frankly, with myself, this is a game changer for weight loss. And it just is a game changer. And why is that, Ron?
Yeah, before we get going, for everybody going across, it's CPRO.shop, and then curcumin is CURCUMIN. So Curcumin Pro, like it is on the label, Curcumin Pro or CPRO.shop. Here's interesting thing that people don't understand about weight loss, and this is a great conversation with all the GLPs, everything going out.
Now, let me change that because you know what it is. That's why I have Grammarly. I may be an author and publisher. Didn't tell you I knew how to spell. Yeah,
CURCUM and then cpro.com.
Yeah, there we go. We got it right now. So carry on. You were really on a roll.
So I want everybody to understand this, because I'm watching what's going on right now in our society, and everybody's on GLPs and losing weight. And they don't understand. I'm not going to go into all of the nuances of why and how they're trying to, how they get the body to lose weight, and why the vagus nerve is so important between the communication between the stomach and the brain. However, I'm going to tell you this: your entire life that you've been walking around, every time your body takes up toxins that it doesn't want to process or protect you from, it'll put a fat molecule and store it, and it's sitting in there. So that means all the PFASs, all the forever chemicals, all the molds, all the chemical toxins your body protects you from. When you're losing weight and those cells release that, it goes into your gut. It will come through your gut. It will do a second pass kinetics into your liver, back into your bloodstream. In other words, you're going to relive it again, what your body tried to protect you from. This particular clay technology, unique to the world. There is no other deposit like it. 15 years of research out of A&M. I've been through all of it. This will actually adsorb. So if you take 1 gram, so these are 500 milligrams, but just 2 of those in a day, you can separate them. You could take 1, even 1. 1 gram takes up 7 soccer fields full of toxins out of your GI system. It adsorbs them, and it takes it out of the waste stream, the fecal stream of the body, which means that you're protecting your liver and your organs from any second pass kinetics. This is one of the most beautiful technology products that I've ever played with, had fun with. I've tagged this over with curcumin and products. I hold it alone. For anybody in any part of your life, I don't care where you are, this should be a part of everything you take every day to make sure that you protect yourself from the toxins that you're about to take in and the toxins you took in that are coming out. That's the technology. That is an amazing, amazing research project, and no other deposit in the world. That's it. It's here in the United States. We have plenty of it. It'll last us about, I don't know, a couple thousand years, but that's it.
Well, and the thing that I believe, it's like a sponge. I personally have had, everybody has this thing that's not quite as strong in their DNA makeup. Mine is an intestinal issue. After 2 days, I felt the difference. Anybody that has been stuck on weight loss, gets to a plateau, is unplateaued. So I'm going to be a shameless self-promoter right here and right now, because I'm honored to say that I'm part of your fan club. I just am. And you can go to my website, drjodee.com, and you can automatically get a 15% discount. So there it is. So I think, so we've got curcumin. We need the umbrella for our whole body. We need the sponge to take it out. So the next thing we're going to talk about in this beautiful thing called supplementation is this weight loss support. I know that you wanted to just go into that just a little bit all by itself. So please take us through that as well.
Yeah, I kind of jumped right into that. What that is what we did was we took the Curcumin Pro technology with the clay, and we put them together. Because when you're going through weight loss, just like anything else, there's 2 things that are going on. You have reactive oxygen species. So the ROS, that's part of the release, that's also lives in your cells. And then you have on the clay, you have the toxins that are going to be released. So that product is basically kind of a high zoot product we developed for people on any kind of weight loss program, whether you're working out, I don't care what you're on, whatever you're doing, that product is kind of a high level product of people on weight loss programs. And what it's going to do for you is this. There's no, I call it the weight loss flu. People start losing weight and they don't feel good. They don't realize it's because of the toxins being released in your body. You don't understand. I mean, you want to do good and you want to feel good, and then you feel really bad while you're losing weight. Well, that's why you're doing it. That product, 2 capsules during your day, is going to support your program. I don't care what program you're on. It will always support you, and it will keep your organs healthy, and it'll keep those toxins from going back into your bloodstream.
And to keep them not going into your bloodstream, it means that you're not going to feel bad. And here is the link on my website, drjodee.com. You automatically get a 15% discount. Don't we just love to save money? And and that is a pretty strong statement that it will do this, but I've seen it done. This is 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat loss when I had my brick and mortar nutritional clinic, and people just had less than a 5% recidivism rate. But I'll tell you, Ron, I had to do with them 5 different products that this one did. So you're going to save time, you're going to save money, and you're going to get results. And that's just what I'm going to say. You can go to my website, drjodee.com, go down to the health tab. You'll see Curcumin there. So this is somebody who we both love and admire and respect. And Dr. Joe Cleaver is in our book. I'm so happy that he's going to be writing in Real Man as well. Let's just hit the anti-ager and a little bit about Clothamax, because it's got to be good if the chemist decided to put Dr. Cleaver in his Curcumin Pro or CPRO.shop website.
CPRO.shop. Joe's a dear friend, and we collaborated on formulation, and at the front end of this, a big portion of what that product is the CPRO technologies, because for everybody that gets into regeneration or cellular regeneration, if you want to go down the road, senescent cells, zombie cells, right? So zombie cells, senescent cells are a big part of how we continue to get younger. So these are cells that are supposed to die that don't die, but they, for a short period of time in our body, have a benefit. And if they hang on, they're zombies, they're horrible. So there's a good and a bad to these guys. So Clothamax, clothoprotein. So if you take the front end of that word, clotho, put it in your browser. This is a 1,000 amino acid chain protein that our bodies produce as we're young and growing, and then they wane off. But they are one of the keys to, I'm going to call it reversing aging. I'm going to say it. These clothoproteins, if you enact them and get them back, you're going to slow aging way down, and you can reverse aging. People don't believe that, but you can. So what we work on all the time. And so Clothamax is a product for anybody out there that wants to slow aging down and get yourself back into just slowing it down. That is a product that was well engineered, and we're about to do a Clothamax 2 coming up. We're gonna actually improve on that a little bit coming up. But for right now, that product is one thing: slow down aging, and by the way, help to get rid of the zombie cells that need to go away. How's that?
Well, and as they say, I'm seeing that song when they talk about zombie cells. And speaking of things that we need to do, I have one more here that I absolutely love, and that is a spoonful of my Brain Boost. Okay, especially going through this mold thing and getting out of this was critical. The clay and this Brain Boost. I mean, when you know you're on the right path to nutrition, you have better focus, more vitality, and more restful sleep. And I think those are 3 outcomes that everybody wants. But tell us a little bit about Brain Boost, even though it wasn't on the slides, please.
Yeah. So what we did was we built a product. We now just received it. We have Brain Boost now in a capsule form. That was in a powdered form. And we nano-sized the technology. So we had a lot of people that wanted to capsulize because they want to take it with them versus the powder. And it took some time. We actually extended, I should say, new nanotechnology platforms. And we have now the new Brain Boost, which I'll send a link back over to you. That new Brain Boost technology is well beyond my original technology, which was foundationally excellent. This is beyond that. This is actually encompasses every aspect of cognitive health, every aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And we have just finished it, and we're just getting ready to launch it. So the exciting part is that now it's going to be available. And that is one of my aspects of things that for the future of everybody that's listening to this, our cognitive health has everything to do with not only our history, but where we go forward, what I'm going to do with this every day. If I gave you a diet, I can't supplement you with enough food of what we built into this product. I just can't. What we built was a super cognitive product beyond anything that's out there right now. And I just want everybody to understand that I'm just telling Jody right now, and we're about to release that information, and I'll send it over to her so she can release it. And it's got some new videotape and filming, and we're just finishing it up. But I want everybody to understand, I am like you. My immune system and my brain are the two things that are going to keep us healthy. And we work on those in our corporation at a level that is beyond most companies in terms of delivery and how we do that. So that is done. It's about to be released. I will send Jody the videos, and you guys can link in. She can send it out. However, Brain Boost is one of my signature technology products that we've been working on, and we've taken it now to a level that, and I'm going to tell everybody on this right now, I'm not kidding you. When you take your first capsule, within 8 to 12, maybe 15 minutes, you'll get clarity, focus. It's no caffeine. It's not a caffeine hit. It's not a rush. It's nothing. It's no tricks. We didn't build
brain expansion. It's brain expansion. Your brain feels like it got larger.
It just feels like it got clearer and fun. And the more you take it, the more clarity you get, the more it actually repairs cellular damage in the brain. So it was a lot of work. Took a lot of time and money. However, that product is now available, I mean, within a week. And I'll give Jody all the information on the release.
Well, and we did our whole thing on Dr. Talk today on the food pyramid versus now it's the food funnel. And we had a ball. The show could have gone on for two hours. And I said, well, I can say that my Maha hat now is signed on one side by Dr. Yang, and it's going to be signed by RFK Jr. on the other one. But I was back to you, Ron, and your company, where other companies are not, they're making good products. Everybody tries to make the best they can, but they are walking on the ground. You are sliding on the ice and gliding through things that nobody can touch. And that's why it's such a privilege and an honor to know you. And I just want to, for the last few minutes, I can say, do you get how busy he is, gang? Do you get, he's got this and we got another product. We're going to be doing this and this. And when you said that, I know I did a hard sale on you being a real men are aware. And you know why? Because everything you said. Why did you say yes to being in our third anthology book? But I'm so honored that you did say yes.
Wow, that's a great question. So I've been asked a lot of times. I mean, you know, I speak on different topics, or people ask me a lot of questions about healthcare or personal health and different things. In my life, what I figured out was, and it's the chapter that I'm writing, it's called Threads, that there are threads. And I call them about, when you look at technologies in life, you see one over here and you can pull that thread and you can pull that thread and you can pull this one. The answers to all the questions aren't necessarily in the one world that you think is the right world. What I figured out, and I've crossed multiple industries and multiple technologies, scientists and PhDs and different doctors and everything else. And what I found that I'm gifted at is I find threads. And I wanted to be able to express in this book that in life, as you learn, life is experiential, and life is about, it's about every experience a person you meet, and everybody has a value. And if you believe in God, if you believe that God puts you in the presence.
What happened? Your microphone went away.
I'm here.
Ron, you went away.
I'm here.
Ron, you must have hit a button on your computer. You're now muted. You're not muted on my side. You just went away.
I didn't touch anything.
I don't know. That's weird.
I didn't touch anything.
Hear me? All of a sudden, I can't hear you.
You hear me?
Check your on the backstage of it, but your audio, it just went away. Of threads. We're in a thread. Stacy, are you still there?
No, I'm here.
Let me mute your mic. And this is why we love things that are live. Okay. I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to bring you back to say, try it again, Ron.
I'm here. I am here.
I have no idea. If you can go to the bottom, a portion of this, and just check where your audio microphone is.
It's
and
on.
I'll just, as we're going through, maybe some things there on your laptop. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Well, you know what? I guess you're gonna have to learn about the threads, guys. In the book, just play with that if you would, please, Ron, and see whether you can't get. It's down at the bottom, and you must get something that just made you go away. But I can tell you, the chapter is going to be amazing. I can tell you that you were an amazing guest. And I can tell you that the real men in this book are men like you. So if you're really thinking that you want to go ahead and perhaps write with Ron, we have 2 spots available. 2 spots available. And I'm still keep thinking that maybe you'll come back, and I'm editing your mic settings.
I don't know.
And,
I'm here.
Maybe, that made a difference. Echo cancellation. What is this something here?
I don't know. I'm sitting right here.
Nope. It's one of these things that I guess you're supposed to have the rest of the words for our virtual summit we're going to do June 15th. But thank you, Ron, for being our guest. I'm not sure this has never happened, but you never know when things do happen. But I will say that you are a real man. You are a real guest. The brain power as I'm going to bring the products up one more time.
Are we here?
Brain boost for the 71 and 7/8-year-old woman is key. The clay is key for everything that you want to pull out of your system and to keep it running smooth with your umbrella. It's all here. So as we say, each and every day, make it a great Healthopedia day. Tune in next week. When our guest will be none other than Shannon Roper, who is our beautiful, beautiful author. She's been an author twice. She's been to Crete. She's going to Aruba. Speaker extraordinaire. She'll be in the UN and be a part of everything we do and who we are. But as we say, health isn't something you do. It's what you become along life's journey. Become health. Become a part of this movement. As I said, be a part of this MAHA. Make America healthy again by making you healthy again. With the food pyramid is part. But when you have supplementation, along with the other 3 things of traditional Chinese medicine, you have it all. So join us next week, next Thursday, when Shannon Roper Hernandez of Roper's Health Oasis and Roper's Holistic Health will be our guest. So until next time and our next broadcast, and each and every day, make it a great Healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.
Woman up, 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 up.